did have IT, the county's IT come in and work on it, so I think it's taken care of, but if not, we'll keep working with it. If you can't hear anything for any reason, remember the instruction I gave you after I swore you in. The court reporter cannot read anything back to you unless you're in your deliberations and have a specific disagreement about a particular piece of testimony. So again, if you cannot hear for any reason, let me know immediately. If you need a break for any reason, let me know immediately. All right. Or we last left off the state, you want, excuse me, defense.
Thank
now
you.
I'm following your
Okay,
lead.
my fault. We'll get it by the end of this trial. Just a quick housekeeping matter. There were a couple exhibits that we want to clarify for the record for the benefit of Ms. Scopas, the court reporter. Firstly, Mr. Cifuentes, early on, the custodian of records, offered an exhibit 2 concerning audit trails. I've conferred with opposing counsel, and we've broken those out with identifiers to make it clear for the record. So at this time, we'll be offering defense exhibit 2A, user audit trail for Deanna Platt. Defense exhibit 2B, Axon user audit trail 2, the second one for Deanna Platt. Defense exhibit 2C, an Axon user audit trail for Russ Van Geffen. Exhibit 2D, an Axon user audit trail for Russ Van Geffen, the second audit trail. Exhibit 2E, user audit trail from Axon for Karen Falks, F-A-L-K-S. Defense exhibit 2F, Axon user audit trail for Hector Salas. Defense exhibit 2G, Axon user audit trail for William McManus. Defense exhibit 2H, Axon user audit trail for Ronald Soto. And those are the 2s, and I've got 2 more exhibits that I'd like to offer these. They were previously discussed and I think agreed upon by opposing counsel. So we'll offer those at this time.
Okay, as to the exhibits he just mentioned, we have no objection.
Right, so each of those are admitted.
And then lastly, there was discussion of a defense exhibit 20 and 21. They are each a disc that contain Jonathan Salinas body cam videos 1 and 2. For clarity, these are a duplicate of States 8, but because they've been discussed, at this time we'd like to offer them for admission just for cleanliness of the record. They're not altered.
And we have no objection.
All right, so each of those are admitted as well.
Thank you, Judge. That's all I have on that.
All right. Now let's go back to that recross.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, Officer.
Good morning, sir.
Do you remember a series of questions Mr. Luna was asking you, the but-for questions, but for this, then that wouldn't have happened
Yes, sir.
at the end? But the reality is the course of that night changed. The complete course of that night changed when Melissa Perez decided to commit an aggravated assault against a peace officer, Officer Salinas. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
And when we talked about it, it was more than one. We saw the video yesterday. We made it more clear how she came out of the windowsill. Did you remember seeing that?
Yes, sir.
And matter of fact, when Officer Salinas was in the window because he was trying to unlock the door, she hit exactly where his head was. Did you see that yesterday?
Yes, sir.
And you couldn't maybe see it from your advantage when you were standing body cam, but you saw it very clearly what he went through, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that changed everything. It changed the whole course of the night.
Yes, sir.
Speak a little louder, please. But for her committing the multiple aggravated assaults against Officer Salinas, these 3 officers would not have been at the scene.
Excuse me?
But for the fact that she committed multiple aggravated assaults against Officer Salinas, these 3 officers would have not been at the scene. They wouldn't have been at the scene.
No, sir.
Because at that moment, that's when Officer Salinas pressed his E-tone, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's that emergency tone where everybody said, hey, and then he put on the record, over the microphone, he said, I have one at gunpoint.
Oh, yes, sir.
Right? And that puts every officer on notice that an officer's life has been threatened.
Yes, sir.
So, but for her behavior, especially specifically at that moment, Sergeant Sergeant Flores, Officer Alejandro, and Officer Villalobos do not respond to that e-tone. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
I also want to direct your attention, because the government asked you about her being a barricaded subject, and we talked about it on the first cross. So I want to just clear it up. I know Mr. Newman went through that chart. I'm not going to go to the chart with you, but let's talk about some of that information, okay?
Yes, sir.
A non-criminal barricaded subject has specific requirements to it. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
And just for clarity, and I think Mr. Cifuentes may ask you this, but at the time of this incident, you had not been trained on barricaded subjects, had you?
I don't recall, sir.
But if he goes over your training logs with you, you'll be able to discuss that with him.
Yes, sir.
But today you have.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for a non-criminal suicidal barricaded subject, the person has to be alone.
Yes, sir.
There has to be non-criminal behavior by the subject.
Yes, sir.
And they have to express intentions of wanting to harm themselves, not other people, themselves.
Yes, sir.
And none of those were present with Miss Perez, correct?
Yes, sir. Oh, there was.
Yes, meaning that they
Yeah.
weren't there, right?
Yes, sir.
So now that you have the training and you've seen that, she was not a barricaded subject based off of a suicidal, non-criminal barricaded subject, right?
Yes, sir.
But she was a criminal barricaded subject, and that's when we went over the 5 C's, right?
Yes.
Remember, the contain, the control, communicate, call, and then create a plan? Remember that one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's when these gentlemen and other officers arrived at the scene, and then that started happening. You agree with that in the past, right?
Yes, sir.
And one of the things that we talked about, and the government wanted to ask you about again, was this shield that I showed you, and it's in the judge's chamber if you need me to get it. Judge, may I stand up, please?
Yes.
So, let's imagine that this is that window, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the government asked you a question about, well, you could have put that shield in front of the window, right?
Yes, sir.
What would that have done for the situation?
It would have been hard to get around the shield.
Would that have placed Miss Perez in custody?
No, sir.
Somebody still had to go in and put hands on her and put her in custody, right?
Yes, sir.
So then they would have had to go through that door, correct?
Yes, sir.
And as the shield is standing here, somebody's gonna go through that door, and then the hammer could have been used in the same manner,
Yes, sir.
right? And so you have to be tactical, and I know, and I'm not saying, or being disrespectful, you're not an expert on tactics, are you?
No, sir.
And so some of the experts here, they're gonna testify for the jury later, they'd be the proper witnesses for them to cross-examine and for us to ask questions about proper tactics. Would you agree with that statement?
Yes, sir.
The government asked you who knew the most about Melissa Perez. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
And arguably, until Sergeant Flores and the other officers, all 15 of them or 14, showed up, you and Officer Ramos and Officer Salinas knew the most about Ms. Perez, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, at the time, I'm not saying personally, just about the incident,
Yes.
her dynamic, right?
Yes.
Her aggression,
Yes, sir.
her resistance.
Yes, sir.
Her evasion. You knew more about her evasion than anybody else.
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna have to ask you this question again. But you knew of how Officer Ramos acted also, didn't you?
I didn't see all his actual camera. Some of those things I wasn't there.
I know it's uncomfortable. I get it, and you already answered it on the first cross. But we agreed that his behavior wasn't appropriate.
Yes, sir.
Right? It didn't follow general manuals, correct?
Yes, sir.
It did not follow any de-escalation.
Yes, sir.
Matter of fact, I think we both agreed, and don't be, it's not your fault, it's his. He escalated the situation, right?
Yes, sir.
But unfortunately, you didn't relate any of that to Sergeant Flores, did you?
No, sir.
You didn't say, Sarge, hey man, Officer Ramos, she's agitated. She's agitated, and this is what's going on. And not only did she assault Officer Salinas multiple times, but Officer Ramos agitated her more, so she's ramped up. You didn't say any of that stuff to him, did you?
No, sir.
You mentioned something, and it caught my attention. You mentioned to the government that Sergeant Flores conducted bad tactics. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
And may I use the well, Judge?
Yes.
And the bad tactics were as they were implementing that plan that was created, remember that plan of officers distract, other officers make entry, try to apprehend her? That was the plan, remember?
Yes, sir.
As he was coming over the rail, you said it was bad tactics because Mr. Cifuentes asked you a question about having his back to Ms. Bettis, remember that?
Yes, sir.
And you meant it was bad tactics because she was violent.
Yes, sir.
And you don't turn your back on someone who's potentially violent.
Yes, sir.
And you criticized it. I thought it was interesting. Did you think it came across a little hypocritical at all? Would you like to change that again?
I mean, the thing was, you have to be aware where your surroundings and things like that, and I just felt that.
Let's talk about whether you applied that same standard to yourself. Do you remember the beginning of this incident?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember, permission again, Judge?
Yes.
And do you remember when you were talking to Ms. Bettis?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember when Lieutenant Hudson had shown you this cut wires?
Yes.
And you remember we talked about that you cut wires with either pliers or a knife or some type of tool?
Yes, sir.
And we talked about, you didn't notice it at the time, that there was obviously a burglary of a building, another felony, remember that?
Yes, sir.
And then you walked up to Ms. Perez and you had heard that she thought she was Elvis's daughter,
Yes, sir.
and that she had been stolen or kidnapped by the cartel,
Yes, sir.
and that she was being listened to by the FBI.
Yes, sir.
And did you remember turning your back on her?
Yes, sir.
Could she have been dangerous at that time?
Yes, sir.
So you showed bad tactics,
Yes, sir.
but you thought he had bad tactics?
I say that everything was bad tactics. Everybody showed bad tactics.
Say, a little louder, sir.
Everybody showed some kind of bad tactics.
Yeah, okay. I'll end with this question. Let's end with this question. Officers have a right to defend themselves just like every citizen does in this county, right?
Yes, sir.
Officers have a right not to be a victim.
Yes, sir.
It is undoubted that that hammer and the manner and use of how Ms. Perez was unfortunately using it was a deadly weapon.
Yes, sir.
And if she succeeded in her intent to strike any one of those officers, it could have caused them serious bodily injury or even death.
Yes, sir.
And the intentional death of an officer is a capital murder.
Yes, sir.
That's the witness, Judge.
Nothing further from the defense or any other nothing on behalf of Mr. Flores.
All right. Stay.
We're ready for our next witness.
All right. The rule's been invoked. You know what that means?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're excused.
Your Honor, the state will call Officer Jonathan Salinas. My understanding is he's at the officer reception room down the hall. My advocate is bringing him now.
Okay. solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may need to adjust the microphone to make sure everybody can hear you. Could you introduce yourself to the jury and spell your name for the court reporter, please?
Jonathan Salinas, JONATHAN Can everybody hear me?
Can you pull the mic a little closer to you?
Can you hear me?
There. All right, state.
Sir, how long have you been an officer with San Antonio Police Department?
I've been an officer for approximately 6 years.
And over those 6 years, what have your duties? Are you still patrol officer now?
Correct. I'm assigned to the patrol division on the south side.
Okay, South Side, and we've heard about South Side. In general, what part of town, what landmarks are encompassed in the South Side?
So I'm assigned to the division of 63 side, so it's basically Old Pearsall Road, Five Palms area, Valley High.
And you said the division is the 63 side. How many divisions are there in the South Patrol?
There's 3. There's 61 and 62 sides.
Okay, and were you working in that assignment in the 63 side, the 63rd Division of the South Patrol on Thursday, June 22nd, and into Friday morning, June 23rd of 2023?
Correct. I was 6340.
Okay, and had that been your original, and your call sign was 6340?
For that night, yes.
Okay, and ultimately that night, who was the sergeant in charge of the 63rd District of the South Patrol on the June 22nd and through Friday, June 23rd?
Sergeant Florence.
And does each of the districts have its sergeant in charge?
Yes.
Do you recall who the sergeant was for the 61st District
Sergeant Rivera.
and for the 62nd District?
Sergeant Robertson.
And as these districts are aligned, may I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Officer, I'm showing you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 12 for identification. Does State's Exhibit 12 for identification, does it just depict graphically how the districts are aligned to each other within the South Patrol?
Yes.
Okay, and does it also then identify for each district and their alignment, the sergeants in charge that night?
Yes.
Fairly and accurate as you know it to be that night, June 22nd, June 23rd, and today?
Yes.
Different sergeants, of course, today, right?
Of course.
Your Honor, tender States 12 for identification, defense for inspection, move to introduce States 12 into evidence.
No objection from us, Judge.
All right, it's admitted. Oh, everybody else get a chance?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, who said no objection? You did?
I said no objection from us, but I'll let them review it also.
No objection on behalf of Dr. Flores.
Just one quick question on Fort if I may.
Okay.
You would agree this is not an official document of the San Antonio Police Department, correct?
Correct.
No objection.
All right, it's admitted.
And we will publish, Your Honor.
Yes.
just so in the general sense, all of South Patrol encompasses those three districts.
I mean, yes, it's somebody's drawing, but yeah, that's practically the city.
That's all I'm trying. And on that night, the Rosemont, the apartments of concern they were in the 63rd district.
6200 Old Pearsall.
Yes.
Yes.
It was in 63rd, and that's why, just sort of habit and practice within the department, once you got on the scene, you took over as reporting officer, responsible officer.
Yes.
Now, were you wearing your issue body worn camera that night on the 3rd of the 22nd through the 23rd?
Yes, I was.
And yeah, approach.
Yes.
Officer, you remember what time you got to the Rosemont Apartments on the June 23rd?
I do not.
Showing you what has already been marked in minute evidence as Defense 1, identified as the incident detail report. What was your call sign?
6340.
Okay, do you see your call sign on the listing?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and you come over to the right. What time does it show you arriving?
At 1:01 in the morning.
Okay. And your body cam was working at that time?
Yes, it was.
You recall radioing dispatch, telling them that you would be arriving en route before you got there?
Sorry, can you repeat the
Do
question?
you recall calling dispatch, telling them that you were en route?
Yes.
Assigning you to this call?
Yes.
And who did you see when you first got there?
I believe it was Rojas.
Okay. And in general, without saying what anybody said, what did you talk with Officer Rojas?
I believe, yes, for a brief second, he told me that there was a female in her apartment, which I believe he identified as Melissa Perez, damaged the fire panel, which she admitted to fire, and I believe him. Then he took me to the panel to show me the damage.
And the person that he identified while where were you talking with Officer Rojas at? Were you in the parking lot? Where were you having this conversation at?
I believe it was near the building of the damaged panel.
All right. Did it start at the building with the damaged panel, or did it start in front of the apartment?
Wouldn't be able to answer you that. I don't remember.
These states of this.
I had,
Also, I'm going to bring up what's been minute in evidence of State's Exhibit number 6, and to try to refresh your recollection. record, I am on state 6 at approximately 01:02:45. This is Officer Rojas's body cam.
Cause I know there was a fire, so. Let's go.
And is that you, Arat, approaching Officer Rojas?
Yes.
Put all this stuff over here. When I got here, she was fired, right? So she was, she come put all these wires over here. So when I got here, she was over here with fire. And she was talking to him, and I was trying to talk to him. She's all like, well, FBI is and that. I'm like, all right, well, come walk with me over here to my car. I think so, yeah. So she put all these wires. So all the fire alarm was going off. Alright, so she was over here talking the fire. And I told her, come walk with me over here. So she was walking with me. Then she saw, what's the name down here? Ramos. And he was walking over here, and she just took off running went inside.
So she decided.
Yeah.
Let me call arson to see if that's theirs. Not them.
That's all I was trying to look up. I saw the tampering. It's like a misdemeanor. So I'm not sure.
Tampering to self-alarm on false, whatever. Set up an alarm or something like that.
Yeah, it was a misdemeanor, so I was gonna be here, but like I said, I was gonna come over here and run her, and I was like, come over here, and I guess she saw what's the name walking over here, and she just took off running. So she went inside the house, her apartment.
Okay. Yeah, if you wanted to stand by over there, I'm gonna call arson.
Alright, I put her in front of the key card.
And you took over because you were now in charge.
Yes, since I'm 18.
And so you identified that you were going to do some research.
Correct, to find out who was the correct owner for the fire.
All right.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear his response. Sorry, officer, what did you say?
I said to find out who's the owner for the damaged property of the fire alarm.
Thank you.
And investigate and answer those questions.
Yes, I was.
Okay. And did you ever rejoin Officer Rojas?
Yes, I did.
Was there who else was out at the apartments besides Officer Rojas?
Officer Ramos.
If you recall, my notes indicate that your research took you about 10 or 12 minutes. Does that seem accurate to your recollection?
Approximately, because I know I was trying to find contact information for our arson investigator.
Okay. After you concluded your research, you got some information. What did you do? And where did you make these calls at?
In my patrol vehicle.
Okay, so it's out in the parking lot.
Yes.
Okay. What did you do after you got your information? Where did you go?
I went back to the apartment with Ramos and Rojas.
Okay. Who did you see in? Is that apartment 3102?
I don't remember.
Okay. Approach again, Your Honor.
Yes.
Also, I'm showing you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 4 for identification. Much like that previous defense exhibit, it is also the IDR from that night. And I direct you to page 3. Take a minute of that, see if you can identify the apartment.
From the call taker from a non-complainant, it says apartment 3102.
Okay. But when you finished, you went back to where Officer Rojas and Officer Ramos were, correct?
Yes.
Did you see anyone else at the apartment that Officer Rojas and Ramos were at?
Outside of it or inside the apartment?
Inside.
Miss Pettis in the living room area?
Saw her in the living room area. Okay. And going back to the exhibit Officer Rojas's body cam again. Were you wearing your body cam?
Yes, I was.
Was your body cam operational and recorded?
Yes.
Going forward, for the record, I'm moving forward to 01/16/15 as a timestamp. Wait.
She came out.
Nah.
So fire says it's gonna be an apartment complex, not theirs. So tampering with fire alarm. I see.
Right there, right? Yeah. She's there, she just won't come out.
She's right here.
Are you open? Yeah.
I think she's.
I don't know you. Yes, she is.
No.
She was
I
talking
said,
about
what's your name?
Open it for a year.
No, I don't know your name.
Run there. And
No, he asked you your name.
he got there.
I wasn't here. I'm trying to figure out what's your name. I doubt they want to push it for a custody. Let me call for it. Man, I don't know your name.
And you just mentioned, I heard you say, let me call, who did you say you needed to call?
Floors?
Is that Sergeant Flores that was the sergeant in charge of the 63rd District, I think?
Yes, it was.
And do you see Sergeant Flores here in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
And is that the individual that is now standing?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Judge, for the record, he's identifying Sergeant Flores.
And why did you need to call Sergeant Flores?
He was my sergeant for the night.
Go back to the recording.
That's what I was doing. I was thinking just turning a year and that's being her on that. But she's all right. What do you say?
Yeah, last time I saw her, she was on that curb.
But I was in the
Now, you made a comment there when after you it appeared to me that you smiled and then you gestured with your right hand to the parking lot. What did you mean? What did you say?
That I had contact with her from the past.
Okay. And approximately how long before this day, June 23rd?
Wouldn't be able to tell you for sure. I believe it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
2 or 3 weeks prior?
Correct.
Okay. And what was the nature of your prior engagement?
The call for service, what was the description for it? Is that what you mean?
What was it for?
It was for a disturbance call service.
Okay. And all the equipment that you normally deploy, which you had on June 23rd, your body cam, your vehicle dash cam, was all of that available to you a few weeks prior?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Now approach.
Yes.
Officer, I'm showing you what has been marked as States Exhibit numbers 14 for identification and States 13 for identification. On States 13, which is a DVD disc of a recording, do you see your initials on it?
I see my initials with my badge number.
Okay. And so you've seen the contents of what's on States 14 for identification before?
Yes, I have.
All right. And States 13 for identification. And States 14 for identification. What is that? Take a moment to look at it.
It's going to be my incident detail report.
And is that for the incident for SAPD 2023-082 903 905 from June 14th of 2023, approximately 0120 hours?
That's what the document says, yes.
Okay. And what do you remember from that call in your previous encounter with Ms. Perez?
So there was 2 calls of service. One immediately after roll call, which ends at 10:30. Was the first call prior for a female causing disturbance in the parking lot, screaming, complaining stated she didn't feel safe, and her and her boyfriend actually didn't feel safe exiting the vehicle. That's why she contacted police. Gave a description of her. As I arrived to the location, I didn't see anybody matching the description or in the area causing any disturbance. Then I switched our information channel. They contacted our complainant, which she advised she was able to get inside her and her boyfriend safely, and she went in the wooded area. So I ended the call for service and went back to service. And then I took another call, followed by another call for service, return call service, same complainant, saying that the female exit the woods is now sitting on the curb, which then I was dispatched to.
And so States 13 and 14 for identification, in some measure capture your encounter with Ms. Perez on the second call and the key card that you got.
Yes.
Okay. Now, my notes indicate you and I first talked in early December of 2023.
I don't know the exact date, but yes, previously in the past.
Okay. But do you recall me asking you, when you referred to that previous encounter?
I'm going to object to him trying to refresh his memory when he hasn't even asked a question that he possibly forgot. This is improper.
All right, Steve, you can refer. I'll sustain.
You stopped looking at the DVD from June 23rd, 1:17:32. You heard yourself say the last time I saw her. Is that what you were referring to on the previous call from 14?
Yes, my memory was fresh.
So back to the night of June 22nd. What did you do from here? Right here on the body cam. After you made that comment of interacting with Ms. Perez before, what did you go and do next?
I then returned to my patrol vehicle and contacted Sergeant Flores
And how did you contact him?
through phone call.
Cell phone, personal cell phone?
Yes.
Okay. Did you talk to him?
Yes, I did.
And what information did you relay to him?
Just basically a brief description of the call, what type of offense I had. Told him that Miss Perez was in the apartment. Actually ran from Rojas and Ramos. She was inside. I observed her from the apartment. She didn't want to come out, so I told him I was going to list her as a suspect in the criminal mischief misdemeanor case.
But you told him she was in her apartment.
In the living room area.
You told him that because that's what you'd seen.
Correct. As the body cam shows.
Okay.
testified that he did not see her run from Ramos and Salinas.
You have the opportunity to cross, so I'll overrule.
And where did you make that call to defendant Flores at?
In my patrol vehicle.
Did you have a recommendation for your sergeant when you made that call from your patrol vehicle?
No, just other than him saying he was okay with me writing up the misdemeanor.
Okay. And you had his authorization?
Yes.
Okay. After getting defendant Flores' authorization, what did you do?
I returned back to Rojas and Ramos.
Why did you go back to Rojas and Ramos?
To tell him that we were done with the call. I was gonna list as a suspect.
Moving forward in the exhibit to approximately 01:22:30 hours on Rojas' body.
What's up? What's that?
And did you hear the voice in the background at a distance? Who was that at a distance?
That was me.
Okay. And what did you tell Officer Rojas?
That we're good.
And what did we're good? What did that mean? What was your intent?
That we're gonna be done with the call.
Done with
Finished with the call, sorry.
And again, your own body cam was running at this point in time.
Yes, it was.
What did you do after communicating to Officer Rojas that we're good, the call was over?
What do you mean?
What did you do? You're in the parking lot. What did you physically do after communicating that information?
I don't remember, honestly.
Okay? Moving to what's already been admitted into evidence as State's Exhibit number 8. Now, it is marked as Jay Salinas body cam, and it starts on approximately 01:23 hours 16 seconds. Okay. Play. Pause.
Oh, so you could go.
Okay. And for the record, we have paused States 8, timestamp 01:23:43. Now, you recognize this is your body cam,
Yes.
okay? And please explain to the jury that when you previously testified that after you told Rojas and Ramos we're done, call's over. What did you do yourself with? And then, and we know that that was at about 1:22:50, and then you started yours up again approximately 1:23:43. Why was there no audio for the first few seconds?
The way our Axon camera is, it has a buffering mode, so when you activate it, it has 30 seconds prior with no audio.
Okay, so the portion that was mute, we're looking at the prior 30 seconds to when you turned it on.
Yes.
And it takes a while for the audio to catch up.
To be activated.
Okay, and you're turning your camera back on, correct?
Yes.
And you wouldn't have turned it on if you hadn't turned it off.
Yes.
gentleman that you shook hands with?
That was going to be the maintenance worker.
Okay? And what happened with the maintenance worker? What did you do with him?
I took him to the damaged fire panel.
Okay? Did you go by yourself?
I believe Rojas was behind me.
Okay? And what was the reason you wanted to go to the damaged fire alarm panel with the building maintenance supervisor?
To get the actual value of the damaged property.
Okay? And you looked over the damage?
With the maintenance worker?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Okay. And play it through.
Yes.
Pause.
Is the sound okay for everybody on the jury? Okay.
Yes, sir. Did you see her, or were you the one that called her? Yeah, somebody called me, and I tried to call actually the monitoring system. They're telling me they putting it on push mode. So she could have put hers in that red box right here. Why she doesn't think she did that? So we were wondering too.
Did you get an estimate of the damage from the maintenance worker?
I did.
And what was that estimate of damage that you got?
He said approximately, at the very minimum, 2,500 to 5,000.
Okay? And approach witness again, Your Honor.
Yes.
Freshening back to states 4. You recall what time did the original call go out that brought police to the apartment complex on June 22nd?
The document says at 11:33.
Okay. And you're finally getting the estimate almost 2 hours later, correct?
Yes.
Now, this wasn't new damage that had just occurred at 1:30. This was the damage that caused police to arrive, to come to that apartment, correct?
Yes.
You just didn't know it until 2 hours later.
Yes.
Once you got that damage estimate, what did you do next? Where did you go?
I returned to my vehicle and contacted our follow-up unit, which is Night CID.
And without saying directly what anyone said, did they get, and why did you call Night CID?
Judge, I think would this be an appropriate time that I can take a breath and break? I'm sorry, I have to go to the restroom with Dad, and I know he's gonna get into some important stuff, so maybe if that's okay with the jury.
All right, let's just take a very short break.
All rise for the jury.
Sir, you're trailing off a little bit at the end, so you need to speak up just a little bit for me.
Okay.
You're trailing off at the end
Okay.
when your sentences.
I'll try to be
Thank you. If I turn and look at you, then you know.
Give me the death stare.
I'll give you the.
You're gonna need to use the restroom.
No, I'm fine. Can you open it, Alex? That's what.
did?
Yeah.
He has some of these.
Yeah, I gave it to him.